All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's all try to catch our collective breaths, shall we? The ABC News, this was linked on Drudge, I believe. This is from 2000. Hillary Clinton, even back then, saying she's not going to use email. What, with all the scandals? Why would I want to use email? This is that she didn't know she was on camera. This was a dinner, little get together or something. Watch this with the words on the screen because it's hard to understand.
Paul and his wife were the ones seated right next to Mrs. Clinton.
Really?
In fact, Paul's home videos picked up Mrs. Clinton saying she had stopped using email messages for fear investigators would get their hands on them.
As much as I've been investigated and all that, you know, why?
Right, yeah.
But why would I have ever wanted to do email?
No,
Can you imagine?
no.
Can you imagine? You see her eyes bulge out. With all the times I've been investigated, why would I want to use email? Can you imagine? And then she gave the little mini Hillary laugh. Even back then, even 16 years ago, poor Hillary. So you know what? If you're investigated, you're doing nothing wrong, wouldn't emails vindicate you? Wouldn't emails vindicate you if you're doing nothing wrong and you're being investigated? Here, take them, read them. I didn't do anything. That's Hillary. That's Hillary. And she got away with it again. She got away with it again because the FBI chose to ignore, as Andy said, Section 793F of the Federal Penal Code, Title 18. Now, if you don't think that this is gross negligence in the handling of classified information, then what is gross negligence? Let's get to the phones. Marcia from Garden City, New York is first up. Hello, Marcia.
Hello, Steve. Over the river here on the island, and let's put it this way, I'm really despondent. This has been a really tough, I was depressed. I was absolutely depressed because I couldn't believe that this had happened. And you know, one of my first reactions afterward was, well, there's no rule of law anymore. There's a set of rules for everybody else, and then this Clinton. It's like it reminds me of Godfather. She's got the judges and the politicians in her pocket. And you know, if you want anything done, you got to go to the Clintons, pay them money, and it gets done. It's terrible. But I mean, one of the first things that came to my mind was they ought to just take all the prisons and jails and let everybody out. Because there's no such thing as crime anymore. Oh,
don't worry. Barack Obama will let a significant number of people out on his way out the door. You could bet on that. But I see what you're saying. It's very, very depressing. You're absolutely right. I thought that Comey was a man of integrity. I thought that he was above reproach. And now I got to tell you, I'm not so sure, because not only did he make it seem like unless there was intent, there was no way to charge her, he ignored the fact that this code in this statute that I alluded to, that Andy wrote about, was in existence. And he purposely went out of his way not to say gross negligence in handling of the classified information, because that statute says gross negligence. Now, you're telling me what he described was not gross negligence? Then my God, what is? So I've lost faith in him, and I'm sorry to say that, but you know what? I lost faith in Justice Roberts, and now in Comey, and I wonder if somebody put a little folder down on the table. Hey, why don't you read the folder? I don't know. I put nothing past the Clintons or Obama. Nothing. I thank you, Marcia. Angela from Charlotte, North Carolina. Isn't that where the proud couple, Obama and Hillary, flew in at our expense on Air Force One?
We welcome them, and you too.
What's up, Angela?
But I'm very sorry, to try to bust your bubble, and I know you're all depressed, and so is everybody else. But as far as the Hillary issue and what's going on with the Homeland Security and state and FBI and law enforcement and misconduct, basically, what's the difference in that and criminal charges? I mean, outside of a public official, as far as charges being brought against them of the misconduct or mishandling or whatever the case may be, as far as criminal charges on the law enforcement different than that department? On the internal?
You're losing me a little bit. Are you saying what's the difference between Hillary, what the FBI said about her today, and if she had been charged? Or are you saying that the criminal justice system is this way all the time? I don't know. Explain to me what you're saying.
It's exactly right, because they're saying criminal charges. Is that on another law enforcement level, or that's within the department?
No, the FBI could have
FBI.
recommended, the FBI could have said, we found that we believe she violated this criminal code and that criminal code. We've sent on the recommendations to the Justice Department to indict her. Instead, they said she did not break any law, which is ludicrous. And that's the difference. So nothing's going to happen to her.
I was thinking along those lines also when they was talking about criminal this and criminal that, with the other charges as far as the law enforcement, with police brutality, excessive force, and they was brought out on camera, on video, and they was pretty much, no misconduct.
Yeah, but Angela, that's different, because those were either the same. The Justice Department looked at that. It's very easy to see something on camera and see a cop react to something and say, "Oh, look what he did." But the people who know the law, whether these are grand juries that have said, "Nope, we saw all the evidence, no crime here," or juries that have been in a trial who have heard all the evidence and all the witnesses and said, "Nope, no crime," or the Justice Department who have decided after seeing all the evidence, like in the Michael Brown case, said, "Nope, no civil rights violation." I don't compare that at all, because they got all the facts. The facts as described by the head of the FBI today, to any idiot listening would say, "Wow, that's gross negligence." I mean, how could it not be? But the FBI decided it wasn't. So I just don't see the difference. Being fooled by a snapshot of a video that you see a cop and saying, based on that little video, you know what he did, you don't. You got to be in the trial, in the grand jury, and see everything. But Angela, thank you very much, and thank you for welcoming our fine president and that upstanding citizen, Hillary Clinton. Thomas from Farmington, Michigan is next. Hello, Thomas.
Hi, Steve.
Hello, sir.
I'm actually more upset about Benghazi than the email scandal results today, because from what I know about Benghazi, it's much more of a black and white situation, because we keep hearing about the issue of intent, whereas with Benghazi, it's pretty clear that, she says on the one hand it was spontaneous, and the other hand that it wasn't. It's much more of a cut and dry. But what really shocked me was what the FBI director said, which is that if other people had committed the acts that Hillary had in terms of her email, they would have been found guilty. I mean, that was the implication.
No. What he said was they'd come under, they'd be eligible for and subject to sanctions. Sanctions meaning that the State Department would say you lose your security clearance. Not that other people would be charged with the crimes that she's not being charged with, but other people would be subject to sanctions. He said, which is not my realm and not my mission here. But that's what he was saying. I mean, I wish he said what you said, but he didn't say that. So I just want to make that clear.
Well, I understood it as an implication that they'd be found guilty of something requiring legal action.
No, sanctions. He specifically said sanctions or other actions, but he didn't. For him to stand there and say, if it was anybody else, I'd have a different story. That would have been, I mean, that's political suicide for him. Thomas, I appreciate your call very much. Thank you very much. Wilson is in Chase City, Virginia. And Wilson, I'll take this opportunity, just as I tell everyone on WMAL that I'm on Newsmax. All this week I'm filling in for Chris Plant on the Chris Plant Show on WMAL Radio right by you. So you could tune in from 9 to noon. Okay?
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. What's up,
Listen,
sir?
I watch you all the time.
Thank
I want
you
to know I appreciate you. Listen, I just wanted to say a few things. I was very discouraged with this decision today. After he branded her all the time, I thought that maybe he was going to go ahead and recommend indictment. But as usual, we all know now the fix is in.
Well, Wilson, I'll give you a chance to respond, but let me just say, I was on the air. We took on WMAL, on the Chris Plant Show, which also goes to other stations, and we took it live. We took Comey's announcement live. And I was saying, when he was announcing, as you said, when he was laying it all out, I said, holy mackerel, he's going to do it. And I said, uh-oh, I hope my mic isn't open. And it wasn't. But that just shows how I'm with you. I thought, my God, he's really going to recommend Hillary get charged with a crime. And then he just did an about face. I was stunned.
That's right. Me too.
Yeah, I don't know, Wilson. I don't know how to explain it. And then to go on and say that no respectful prosecutor would even dare to take up this case. I mean, you heard Andy McCarthy before saying, I'm a former federal prosecutor. He's wrong. I just don't, I don't want to say. I just don't want to say. I'm disappointed in him. I don't know what made him do it, but there's a statute staring him in the face. He could have used it. He decided not to, and only he knows why. I do not know why. I thank you, Wilson. All right, Alan Dershowitz, noted criminal defense attorney. He will be with us next exclusively to weigh in on this, and then more of your phone calls on a very big day on the Steve Malzberg Show.